Hello, this is Rick Wilson, back again with another entry in our Altitude How-To video series. This time, I'll be showing you how Altitude's classification module can be used to categorize electronic content so you can effectively manage it throughout its information lifecycle. I'll start by logging into Altitude, then selecting the classification module. When you enter the module, you're provided with a visual recap of any information that's been previously classified. In my example, you can see there are 4 distinct categories: confidential, historical business records, private, and public. If I scroll down the page, you'll see there's a further breakdown of those categories for the content type email and files. To get started with the module, customers create labels that will define their categories. During the classification process, these labels are applied to individual content items as extended metadata properties. I'm going to add a new label type called contains PII. Rather than relying on users to categorize their information, Altitude utilizes a centralized classification approach. This model is similar to Altitude's data governance module, where administrators create workflows where they define the criteria used to determine what category an item should be placed into. These workflows are then added to a policy for execution. In this example, the Altitude classification workflow will examine Office 365 email. As the workflow progresses, it opens a mailbox, then it checks the folders. Finally, it evaluates the messages within a folder to determine if they contain a pattern that matches either a credit card or social security number. When a match is found, the workflow assigns a classification label of contains PII to the message. You'll notice on the right-hand side, you can see that label being applied. When my workflow edits are complete, I save them to the Altitude Cloud. The workflow can now be added to a policy for execution. I'll begin by creating the policy and giving it a name. Assign the workflow to be executed. Click Next. Now we specify the mailboxes that this workflow is going to be applied to. In this case, I'm going to search for my own mailbox by entering my name, clicking on Go, and then selecting it from the list and adding it to the policy. Now that my mailbox has been added, I'll click Next. And I could also add a schedule if I want this to run on a repeatable basis. For today, I'm just going to click the Create button and start the workflow manually. Now that my policy is in place, I can select it and start it running. After my workflow completes, any message that was classified is added to my results view, where you can see it found 2 messages in my mailbox. If we go back to the summary page, you can also see that there is now a new content category represented called contains PII. These categories can then be used to drive further management of the content through retention policies. Well, thanks for taking time to view the video. I hope this was helpful, and watch for more entries in our Altitude How-To series.